Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. Got Toy Guru Neitlich here, and I've been making quite a few videos the last few weeks about what I've been calling the toy apocalypse. The fact that we're not getting as much for our money. So which toys are giving us enough for our money is the question. Well, if you look at most 6-inch figures, we are getting better quality figures overall than we got 20 years ago. They're slightly bigger, the articulation is better, we don't see the pegs and the joints, so we're getting progress. But because of the rising costs, we're also losing quality in the little places. Things like belt buckles and rivets are no longer getting painted. Figures are now being cast in the original plastic color, not painted over with a wash in order to bring out those details. We're also getting cost-reduced capes, cost-reduced accessories. So with all the different figures, scales, sizes, IP out there, who is actually giving us a toy that's worth our money? And when you can get the same exact figure in multiple scales, should we be going down in scale to get better quality? Well, from kind of what I've noticed, the answer is yes. I recently picked up a new wave of vintage collection Star Wars figures, and I was lucky enough to actually find them at retail, which we all know is like the coolest way to find because, much better than just getting a ship. There's a reward there. And now all of these figures in the current vintage line for the 40th of Return of the Jedi have all been released before. There's no new characters here. But I was really, really impressed by the quality of this current wave. And I want to show you kind of what I mean by this, especially when we're looking at things like 6-inch figures. All right. So 3 3/4 figures, they have really come a long way. And the amount of articulation that we're getting, the paint quality, the accessories, the lack of joints is honestly remarkable. I mean, I know we're paying $16 now for a basic Star Wars figure, which is a lot. Especially, and I mean, gosh, for customized figures like that Boba Fett in the background there, I mean, I paid $25 for that. All right, so this new Vader, I mean, looking at the accessories, there's deco everywhere. I mean, the mask has no less than 30 points of deco on it itself. It slips on really easily. Kind of reminds me of the old mask toys from the 80s. It's like, Vader transform TIE Fighter from flying mode to, I don't know, driving mode. Quick, put on masks. I can't do that very well. But yeah, I mean, not only is the ease of putting on the mask improved from previous figures, but I mean, look at how thick the cape is, the quality of fabric there. Look at all of the deco you get on the head. And, even though we've gotten removable helmet Vader in the past, noticeably improved. And yes, I mean, we've also gotten this same body of Vader less than a year ago, I think is either a Rogue One, or I think it was actually an Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was a Dark Times Vader, that's what it was. But they're they're repurposing the basic body, and with a new head and a new arm, you get a new version of him. And while, yes, it's, very similar to Vaders we've had before, what's really interesting about this latest wave of 3 3/4 Star Wars is when you compare them to a 6-inch figure, which costs about $10 more. So you're getting a figure that's, roughly double in size, but the quality that I feel like you're getting currently from specifically Hasbro with 3 3/4. I mean, look at how thick the cape is. It's not cost reduced. They've raised the prices? They've raised the prices on 3 3/4, just like they've raised the prices on 6-inch. But unlike 6-inch, 3 3/4 doesn't appear to be cost reduced. You seem to really be getting your money's worth. Again, looking at this Han Solo Endor figure, we've had this figure before. Granted, he usually comes with not a cloak, a trench coat. That's the word I'm looking for. I'll grab the latest or a previous version of the same character. And I know that this one actually probably needs to take a bath in hydrogen peroxide with sunlight to get rid of the yellowing of the shirt. I'll link at the end of this video how to do that. But you can see, I mean, look at the head, the head size to the body. The arms, the legs aren't as wonky. You don't see any of the pin joints. And again, the deco is astonishing. Not only do we get deco up and down the figure, but we're getting deco on every hit on his belt buckle, even the little strap that goes around his leg to hold his holster, the gun holster. You can see there's deco hits on that. You wouldn't see this on even a Black Series figure of the same exact character. I don't have one-to-one, so I can't bring out like an Endor Han. I know they've released one recently. But just examining this in the way the articulation is done, but really especially the fact that there is no cost reduction here. You don't see any places where there should be deco. Every rivet, every button, every belt buckle is hit. Even the nozzle and handle of his blaster has deco. Compare that to something like Coulsar from the Marvel Legends. There's a recent X-Men Starjammers figure I got, and he just came with a plain hunk of plastic meant to represent his gun. So, yeah, you are definitely dealing with much better quality, especially when you're grabbing something like this. Marvel Legends, I've used this slide many, many times, they're no longer decoing the details because it's the easiest thing to cost reduce. Believe me, I've been in enough meetings where we've had to cost reduce figures, and it's tough. It's like, Sophie's Choice. But when you look at figures from 10 years ago, 20 years ago to figures today, you can really notice the difference. This Fisto figure, the one on the left, is the original. The one on the right is the cost-reduced version. So you can see specifically things like rivets, the back of his belt buckle. Those are the first things that get reduced because, well, toy companies feel like parents and kids won't miss those. But collectors sure do. And the fact that they've had to raise prices, which is understandable, but at the same time, they've removed deco. So we're paying higher prices but getting less with 6-inch. Versus, again, this 3 3/4. Look at his blaster has no less than 3 deco hits on it. Versus that hero staff had 0 and was cast in raw plastic. Vader's helmet, again, looking at it compared to a previous version. The new one's the larger one on the right there. Look at how much deco is just on his helmet. You can see from the way the arms are corrected. You can see the way that the new heads are better scaled. The helmets are better scaled. We get removable hats. We get better details. You can see this is kind of all of the Darth Vaders with movable helmets. We have, the original, the one that actually looks like Return of the Jedi, the one that looks like Hayden Christensen. That one's kind of weird. And then this current one. But yeah, we're getting much better sculpts. So looking at all the different types of figures out there, I can honestly say 3 3/4 Star Wars is giving us our money's worth. All of these other lines, while the prices are going up, the quality seems to be going down. But not with 3 3/4 Star Wars, and I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting to open up current figures and be like, oh man, they're starting to cost reduce these too. But honestly, no, they're not. I'm impressed. Have you had similar experiences? Have you noticed that certain lines that are being cost reduced and others are not? I'd love to hear your thoughts too. Please do share that in the comments. And as always, sharing and liking and subscribing to this channel, all that stuff always helps out. So thank you for your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.